Lestrade, how nice to see you.
So it really is you. I had your message. I could scarce believe it.
You seem to want some unofficial help. 3 undetected murders in 1 year won't do, you know.
Holmes, I know this man.
Of course you do, Watson. So does the inspector. Colonel Sebastian Moran. Once of Her Majesty's Indian Army and the best heavy game shot our Eastern Empire has ever produced. I believe I'm correct, Colonel, in saying that your bag of tigers still remains unrivaled. I wonder that my simple stratagem could deceive so old a shikari. How many times have you not tethered a young kid under a tree, laid above it with your rifle, and waited for your bait to bring up your tiger? This empty house is my tree, and you are my tiger! The parallel is exact.
You may or may not have just cause for arresting me. But there can be no reason why I should be subjected to the jibes of this person. If I am in the hands of the law, let things be done in a legal way.
Well, that sounds reasonable. Anything further to say before we go?
Only to ask what charge you intend to prefer.
What charge, sir? Well, of course, the attempted murder of Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
Not so, Lestrade. To you, and you only, belongs the credit of this remarkable arrest. With your usual mixture of cunning and audacity, you have got him.
I don't understand you, Mr. Holmes. Do you mean this man?
The man whom the entire police force has been seeking in vain. Colonel Sebastian Moran, who shot the young Adair through the open window of his parents' house upon the 20th of last month. That is your charge, Lestrade.
You were quite the heroine of the occasion, Mrs. Holmes.
I don't know, I'm sure, sir.
I hope you observed all precautions.
Oh, yes, sir. I went to it on my knees, just exactly as you told me. And a good crick in my back to prove it. Oh, I wasn't half frightened, Doctor. And when that window shattered, I thought I should have died.
Yes, you did it very well, Mrs. Hudson. There's no sign of a bullet.
Oh, excuse me, sir. A moment, if you please.
What is it?
I have it here. I picked it up off the carpet.
Mrs. Hudson, you are becoming indispensable. A soft revolver bullet. As you perceive, there's genius in that. For who would expect such a thing to be fired from an air gun?
No ordinary air gun.
No, indeed, a remarkable and unique weapon. Noiseless and of tremendous power. I knew Von Herder, the blind German mechanic, who constructed it to the order of the late Professor James Moriarty. Ha! Watson, look at this. The old shikari's nerves had not lost their steadiness, nor his eyes their keenness.
The results are appalling.
Yes, indeed. Had you heard of the name Moran before Adair's murder?
No, I had not.
Well, well, well. Such is the price of fame. Would you be so kind as to hand me down my L to M index? Of biographies, Watson. My list of M's is a fine one. Mind you, Moriarty's name is enough to make any letter illustrious. I seem to remember Morgan, the poisoner. Merridew of abominable memory. And there was Matthews, who knocked out my left canine in Charing Cross Station. There is our friend of last night.
Moran, Sebastian Colonel, son of Sir Augustus Moran, once British minister to Persia, educated at Eton, Oxford, blah, 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 blah. Served in Jawaki campaign, Afghan campaign, Sherpa Kabul, mentioned in dispatches. The second most dangerous man in London. This is astonishing, Holmes. This is the career of an honourable soldier.
It's true. Up to a certain point, he did well. You know, there are some trees, Watson, which grow to a certain height and then suddenly develop some unsightly eccentricity. You will often find it in humans. Whatever the cause, Moran began to go wrong. Without an open scandal, he still made India too hot to hold him. He retired, came back to London, where again he acquired an evil name. It was about this time that he was sought out by Professor Moriarty. When we were in Switzerland, Watson, Moran followed us with Moriarty, and it was undoubtedly he who gave me those evil 5 minutes above the Reichenbach Falls.
Well, now I can understand why you disappeared. With a fellow like this, free in London, your life would not have been worth living.
All I could do was wait and watch the criminal news, knowing that if I was patient, sooner or later he would make a mistake. When I heard of the murder of Ronald Adair, I knew that at last my chance had come. Knowing what I did, was it not certain that Colonel Moran had done it? He played cards with the lad, followed him home from his club, and shot him through the open window from the rooftop opposite. Watson, does anything else remain for me to explain?
Yes. You have not made clear what was Moran's motive in murdering the Honourable Ronald Adair.
There we move into the realms of conjecture. Each may form his own hypothesis upon the present evidence, and yours is as likely to be correct as mine. Watson, have you formed one?
I think so.
Let me hear.
Well, it's not difficult to explain the facts. There must have been a considerable amount of money involved, and Moran had undoubtedly played foul. I think that Adair had discovered that he was cheating.
Splendid.
Very likely he spoke to him privately and threatened to expose him, Moran, unless he voluntarily resigned membership of his club and promised not to play again.
Watson, this is excellent.